It's 14:15 on the 17th of June of 2023, and as I've explained throughout my documentary, I'm experiencing very serious offences of people that have been in my proximity that haven't been respecting civil society principles or democratic constitutional law. And there have also been offences by individuals that have been demoted. I don't know if they know the law, but I have explicitly stated that my position in this country is of a status and standard that has been hard earned, I suppose, in certain respects. My royal blood is entitling me, obviously, to natural birthrights or whatever. But with regard to my status in the constitutional context, with regard to the legislation that has arisen from my 20 odd years of advocacy and education and humanitarian endeavours, the position of some people in this country has actually been misunderstood. As I've mentioned, there are services and agencies and bodies receiving a salary and a wage for circumstances that they're not fulfilling their duties or functions or responsibilities. Now, it's dangerous enough that they're not fulfilling their obligations to my royal crown. It's very dangerous that they're not fulfilling their basic functions to the constitution and the democracy. So this is very serious what I'm tolerating. There are people then that have a notion of breaking and entering into personal space. Mental health practitioners on the attack and on the assault and disrespecting COVID-19 protocol from me. Mental health practitioners assisting ASPOs, no less. So this situation is highly dysfunctional. It's in the southwest of Ireland, of course, that these problems are arising, and they're only fresh recovery circumstances for those that have been nearly killing themselves with addiction. It's such a sad sign of the times that, you know, people haven't respected their lives and that they have been on the brink of breakdown. But hopefully there's been a breakthrough from my legislation, and those people that are frauding and lying and just doing so much damage to children's futures. I have such concerns from the mother role, from the educator role, these people that are making less of these circumstances with cheap talk and cheap behaviour. I really have concerns for their cap that they think that is Aryanist, when in fact they aren't really at that peak of Aryanism at all at all. I'm aware they have associated themselves with Aryanism, but unfortunately there's a discrepancy between what the philosophy represents and what the actual practices that are present in this present day circumstance. Actually, you know, there's a huge discrepancy between the philosophy and the practices of ASBOs acting against my royal crown and that are disrespecting the constitution, the democracy as usual. So obviously there are people that think they're walking onto farms that have only my name on them. The Garda Síochána are aware that those that think they're entitling themselves to anything from my holy matrimony, where there have been attempts of bigamy, no less. The Vatican Church, I hope the Vatican Church is fully aware of the dirt that's going on in this community against the faith. It's bad faith, it's bad practice and bad politics and filthy money that is not safe to be handling or interacting with at all with the practices of bad faith that have been entangled with that dirty money circulating. It's awful serious what's going on. As I've mentioned, there are people that have been in the industry of an aspect of the arts that isn't exactly flattering or safe for women and children's rights to be compromised by. So those that think they've been bargaining or renegotiating or anything of the sort with regard to the role of women and children while facilitating unlawful care orders of my son, those people that are disrupting family units to be a farm fraud are not helpful to the future safety of other children. So the Hippocratic Oath, the mental health services, the COVID-19 protocol, the whole lot, those people that are offending me as a royal, as a property owner, those people offending me and not addressing what they need to be addressing. Oh my goodness, please stay away from my farms. The farm fraud is bad enough. The trespass is dangerous, but any offence without reparations that are also obligatory, those people that are living off my social reform and claiming to be of my legislation, I hope the United Kingdom knows the risk to this entire situation. The people in those health and well-being industries really are communicating a very unsafe psychology to those that have been already compromised with the Hippocratic Oath. So as I'm of British blood as well, it might be sensible for everyone to see the light. I'm aware that there are people trying to procure my mountain property in Kilflynn. It's called Stacks Mountain. I actually have 300 years of McElligott ancestry from my plot on that property. So I'm relabeling it Mac Mountain. So as I have those records, I would hope anyone wouldn't be misunderstanding the reality of this circumstance with nonsense. So, for the interest of NATO and the Vatican, now I suppose the obstruction is it's ridiculous, but look, sure, we've seen already in Ireland what's happened with the repercussions of people causing offence to my royal crown. Those people that are offending or insulting and evading, those people that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing are going to just bring on problems to themselves. There have been people on my farms in that area of Kilflynn that have practiced witchcraft against my family name. I'm fully aware of the conduct of these people that have done witchcraft on my farms without my consent or interaction or engagement, and they have brought down the standards of the Vatican for the Christian views and philosophies that we'd all aspire to have. So I suppose that's as much as I need to say in this upload. Mental health practitioners, you've no right or remit to be discussing me. You've slandered my name and defamed and been guilty of crimes against the state. I'm a royal protocol. Anyone coming within 2 feet of me that is of violence or any threat to my safety or well-being is committing a punishable offence and putting themselves at risk. So any Garda Síochána that are aware of what I'm communicating and supporting, again, if there is any further support from the Garda Síochána that supports ASBOs or mentally disturbed land grabbers or anyone associated with unlawful care orders, the Garda Síochána are automatically putting themselves at risk. So that disrespects my legislation and it disrespects progress. So my hierarchy of needs has to be repaired. There's damages after being done by breaking and entering culprits at this address, and there are people in my proximity that are of offence and that aren't within remit. So there's a hierarchy of needs that has to be repaired. People dodging and ducking and diving, you're making yourselves unsafe with what debts you owe me and with the trespass onto my farmland and any threats or harms to my little baby boy illegally from my care. So I'm repeating myself ad nauseum, and yet there doesn't seem to be anything done. So there seems to be a discrepancy between our capabilities and our aspirations, between what an Aryan is and what an Aryan actually does in a deluded society that thinks it's going to be democratic, being a fraud. So there's huge discrepancies and obviously no proper thinking, thought, action or behaviour. So whenever anyone's going to be able to demonstrate courage and bravery and do what they're supposed to do, they mightn't realise, but they're answerable to the royal crown of my title. There are people that think they're answerable to another agency of the state that isn't actually acknowledged in these circumstances. It's called royal protocol. So when people know who they're answerable to, besides working with any more fraud or theft or false reporting or slander of my name, those people that have been of witchcraft and think they're eating from my table, I might remind them about the poison chalice and the blasphemy and the sacrilege and the profanity that's been going on that I've been tolerating with these crimes against my spiritual purpose that has saved people's lives. I'm of as I've mentioned, recovery advocacy that has saved people's lives. This community is very polluted and contaminated with mentally disturbed individuals. So mental health practitioners, anyone with offence, the Garda Síochána acting on behalf of ASBOs, as they already have done prior to 2019, coming within 2 feet of me, that's a problem for your future safety. Any more offences I tolerate, etc. It's just not safe for children's futures. So my child is a missing person until he's recovered and restored to my care, where he was illegally separated from. Then there are going to be more of the same repetitive cycles that we've already seen in this community as a consequence of thieves, slanderers, and I suppose dirty defamation. Interpol, are you aware of what's happening from the southwest of Ireland? NATO, are you aware of what I've done for the IMF inadvertently and directly from the southwest of Ireland? You know, these people are joyriding and piggybacking off my recovery advocacy, and I don't support that. That's all punishable. It's a penalised offence. So anyone deluding themselves that's been in the sex industry, using their bodies to be bargaining bait or tool to usurp from me, I'd hate to tell you what you're doing to your body or anatomy, putting it at risk like that. Offending women and children's rights and the dignity of women and the dignity and innocence of children. So anyone that's been of the prostitution ring, that has been a part of crimes against me, I hope the Vatican is aware of the level of contamination and dirt, that of defamation and disrespect that I've tolerated. So it's a sad sign of the times. The politicians up in Dublin, are they aware of the cycle that's going on in this community? Sad sign of the times.